Hello, I'm Jeff Myers, and welcome to Elgin Today. On this edition, for our first story, we are at the annual Martin Luther King Day celebration, the prayer breakfast, for the first time, held at the lower level of the Hemmons Cultural Center. It was a great crowd on hand. We'll have a chance to talk with a musician on this day who was a Martin Luther King Scholarship winner, and we'll hear from the Elgin City Manager and more. The mayor's segment will be from the Elgin Tower Building with property manager Chris Pezza. The Tower Building is now open, and already folks are signing leases to live at this great structure. Also on the night of Thursday, January 18th, Chris turned all the lights of the great Tower Building on for you to see. Councilmember Terry Gavin looks back at last year's Elgin Civil War reenactment and looks to the future with great anticipation for this year's event in June. Randy Riopel of the Parks and Recreation Department has information about the March into Health kickoff event hosted by Activate Elgin and slated for March 3rd. We'll have these stories and more on this edition of Elgin Today. The City of Elgin's 33rd annual Dr. Martin Luther King celebration included a prayer breakfast on Saturday, January 13th, and for the first time held at the Hemmons Cultural Center, and it drew a big crowd. Amongst those in attendance, City Manager Rick Kozel. Our Martin Luther King prayer breakfast, the venue here looks great here at Hemmons.
It does, Jeff. It's a fantastic area, and we know how to punch this up for these types of special events. It's fantastic being here for the 33rd annual Martin Luther King breakfast, and it's always wonderful to be in the presence of these wonderful people, special guests that we have for a truly and honor a truly magnificent man. Couldn't be a better way to spend a Saturday morning.
Elgin does this so well, don't they?
We do, and again, it's part of the fiber that's within this community, and it's a hallmark of this city that has been in existence for such a long time. The city is known for its compassion, its deep social network, and what better way to celebrate and recognize that long-standing commitment than to be here for the Martin Luther King breakfast.
You were part of the great event today, the Martin Luther King extravaganza. What a wonderful job. Now, you're quite the musician, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I try my best.
And you're a Larkin grad.
Yes, sir. This year I will be graduating.
And you performed here today. It was great.
Yes, man. Thank you. I just love giving back to the community and using my talents to give back. It's all about Dr. Martin Luther King and what he wanted this community to be like. So I'm trying to follow in his footsteps.
You're doing a great job. Keyboardist you are.
Yes,
How'd
sir.
you get involved with that?
I mean, ever since I was growing up, my grandpa, I've been around the church and I saw plenty of musicians. So that inspired me to be who I am today. And because I've seen that I have a gift, why not share it with the world, you know?
Was Larkin High School a factor in your musical advancement?
Yes, of course. I am in the vocal academy in my school. So we take half of our day is dedicated to music and just music and theory classes. So, you know, everything about that has made me to the man I am today and has created the work ethic that I have.
After you graduate from Larkin this upcoming spring, you're going to go where?
Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, you give me goosebumps. That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Only the best can go there.
I'm ready.
The Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White was to have been the keynote speaker on this day, but a last-minute change kept it all in the family. Daughter of Jesse White, Glenna, you've come to Elgin. Jesse's a little ill today, is that right?
Yes, but he'll be he's on his way to recovery, speedy recovery.
He's such a trooper. Does he ever talk about his days in the Cubs organization with you?
Oh yes, he does. He loves the time that he spent with the Cubs, and he's very proud of it.
He made it all the way to AAA, played with Paul Popovich and some other well-known names.
Exactly, he definitely did.
Now you're representing Jesse today. Have you been to Elgin before?
I have, but it's been a long time since I've been here.
This is a great-looking venue here for Martin Luther King breakfast, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and it's been great to walk through here and meet some of the people, and they've been telling me a lot about the city of Elgin and its history, and it's been great to hear. And I got a tape about Project 231, which I'm excited to view once I get home.
That video is in every library in the state.
That's what Ernie told me, and he also said that the Secretary of State was instrumental in making sure that it is in every library in the state.
Very historic for the Black history of Elgin. It's great.
Yes.
Great you'll be able to see that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Tell what you told the folks today.
What I'm basically telling them is about Secretary White and his history with Dr. Martin Luther King and how inspirational he has been to him in his life. And he met Dr. King when he was at Alabama State College. And I just want to let them know that King was very instrumental in shaping him to be the person that he is today.
We're so delighted you came to Elgin today.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
The chairperson of the Dr. King Celebration Committee, Denise Haben, told us about this year's Humanitarian Award winner.
Well, the Humanitarian Award is given out each year to an individual whose life works exemplifies the life and legacy of Dr. King. We had two wonderful nominees for the award, Ron Ragland from U46 and Tracy O'Neill Ellis from U46. After reviewing the nominations, the Human Relations Commission, made the decision. It was tough, and it gave the award to Ms. O'Neill Ellis. Her work and advocacy on behalf of all kids in U46, all social justice issues, is phenomenal. It's outstanding, and so we're very, very pleased to have given her the award.
We are inside for what promises to be a very exciting episode with Mayor David Captain. Mayor, you've got us into a brand new place, basically.
Good morning, Jeff. Yep, we're in the new residential building in the city of Elgin, the Elgin Tower building. With us today is Chris Pezza. He's the building property manager. We're going to be taking a little tour of the tower building, and it's getting ready to open up, and they're Chris's job is to fill these apartments and realtor and advertising. So this is part of what we're going to do. It's an exciting thing, and this is a lot of history for people in our community, and obviously goes back to the Depression days and when this building was built. And many of us, I'm 70 years old, many of us grew up here, and we had a doctor or we had a dentist or we had a lawyer that was in this building. And that was what was part of our downtown. And it's a signature, and I call it the lighthouse for our downtown.
Wow.
And Chris, tell us what your job is here and what your plans are and how you plan to roll this out.
So first of all, Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming out. This is an honor and a privilege. Our plans here are to really bring great housing back to downtown Elgin, provide a fabulous place to call home for local residents, provide people to be patrons at all the local businesses. And I think as we take you through the building, you're going to be very impressed with the job we've done here to bring this building back to its glory.
1929 becomes brand new again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the theme of this building is history meets modern luxury, so it's outstanding here.
Yeah, we've seen some of the inside. You have, Mayor.
I have, yeah. And Jeff, this was a long project. For me, it probably started before we got the capstone and the current developers. We probably had a couple of inquiries before that. Just never took, never had the synergy. Mm-hmm. And it took a lot of financing, like a jigsaw puzzle, to put the financing together to make this work. The city's part of this was TIF money, roughly $6 million in TIF money, to help bring this building back to really to its historic heyday. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that the downtown's going to be extremely proud of, and hopefully this will pay us dividends well into the next century.
Wonderful. We've seen some of the apartments and some of the pictures that we've seen early. Describe what one of the apartments on the lower floors look like.
The lower floors, actually the first and second floor, are the original retail spaces, and those apartments are very large. Mm-hmm. They have more conventional squared layouts, king-size bedrooms, large living rooms, fabulous units. My favorite part of those are the original cast iron windows were preserved in those units. So just incredible street views, lots of natural light. You guys will be very impressed.
We know the Downtown Neighborhood Association was in one of those, so folks are familiar with that building a little bit, so they will be luxurious, won't they?
Absolutely, and special shout out to the Downtown Neighborhood Association. Their support for this building has been incredible.
As we move upward, have you seen the ones upstairs, Mayor?
I saw them as shells. And that they were open walls, and as part of my tour when we went through that, I was impressed is that they were working very hard to save some of the original glass, to save the woodwork that was in the building. And Jeff, this was a kind of a rough trip to make this happen. We had to go through a lawsuit here, and the city prevailed in that, and to make this building happen. So it's been a lot of sweat from a lot of people to make this work. Talking to the construction people when I went through, and I kind of have an interest in that. They, because of the way the building was laid out, it's not like a conventional building where the apartments are the same size. They're all different shapes. They had to run the electrical and the piping through there, and some of the stuff was, 80 years old. Wow. So it was a real construction project for people, but it was a challenge. And I think you could when you talk to some of the tradesmen that were here, I think they enjoyed it.
So you're good with nails. You're good with construction.
Well, I did a little bit of that a long time ago.
There's 44 apartments, is that
44,
right?
44, that's correct.
And how many floors do we have now?
14 floors have occupancy on them. We'll have occupancy on them.
And again, as we go up, they're a little bit smaller, as you said.
Yeah, actually, they are a little bit smaller due to the column spacing, but the architect here did a fabulous job to make sure that you could maximize that living space, fit your furniture, all your needs. So very efficiently laid out. They're excellent.
As we talk with you, it's February, and you've already had some tours of folks who will be first movers in. Is that right?
Absolutely. We signed our first lease Friday, one day after we opened the building. Wow. We actually had a Facebook post on that lease signing that reached over 13,000 people. A lot of good momentum. We have 3 other applications that have come in, and we'll be doing tours full time from here on out.
As we talk, that officially been Friday, January 12th for that. That's exciting news, isn't it?
Absolutely, Jeff. And this has been a project. I think it's become from my standpoint, it's partly my job as well. And I've talked to people from Metra when we did some ribbon cuttings and some events out here. Metra's excited about it. They're willing to put some information on their website as well, because they look at this as a place for young people that could maybe want to commute into Chicago. They're 1 block from the train station, an easy walk, and from their standpoint, that's part of their marketing as well. That how convenient do you make your community for Metra to provide transportation?
When your clock, some photos were taken recently, and the clock struck high noon, if you will, by man's arms. That was quite a spectacle to see, wasn't it?
There were 2 moments here that really sort of put this all together for me. When the clock face went back on and when the flag was raised for the first time. Right. And actually our maintenance technician is a veteran. We let him have the honors of raising the colors. Matthew, that moment really, I got chills. So It was very special.
The flag and the clock, Mayor.
Yeah, and Jeff, one of the local Elgin residents, had scoured the United States for parts for that clock. His name's Jerry Sorensen, lives up in the northeast neighborhood, and Jerry and I met probably 8 or 9 years ago, and this building was, at that time, it was still owned by the Stickling Foundation, and he said, Dave, is there any way we can save the clock? He said, I found these parts, and they don't even make them anymore. They're hard to come by. So he had an instrument, and again, local people having an instrumental part in making this project move forward.
For the record, the clock, of course, the Elgin Watch Factory made watches, so the clock was never made in Elgin, but you're putting Elgin Central Time on it now, and that's exciting.
Absolutely. And to your point, Mr. Mayor, a lot of this work here, in fact, I would say 99.99% of the work was done by local unions. So, really stimulus for the economy here.
That's great.
So that's what it's all about. And, you take city money and state money. There are some issues here and some bumps in the road, and I think it's part of being, as you look at rescuing the historic building, one of the major delays in the construction were the windows. Mm-hmm. And they required that the windows be historically correct. And they were, when they built this building in the 1920s, those windows were made one at a time. And so they had to measure each one, and I was talking to the guy that was doing it. He was just shaking his head, and they ended up with, I believe it was a firm out of St. Louis that constructed the windows. So those are some of the little things that end up adding to the cost of the project, and it really created a delay for us in moving this forward because they couldn't do any of the interior work and not have the windows in place.
Especially like that is always a workout. The elevator, was there any stories with the elevator?
Well, the elevator, as you'll see, we tried to restore it to its original glory as closely as we could. Unfortunately for now, we've got paper down on the floors and things like that, as we will be having move-ins, but eventually terrazzo floors in there, the woodwork, the molding, everything in there is going to be very, very special, unlike anything you'll see in these modern high-rises.
So at least you signed it back on January 12th. They'll move in March?
Actually, that is for a February 1st move-in.
All right. So it's happening as we talk with you now.
We are ready to go. We can't wait to get people back in this building and bring life back to it.
That's great. This sign behind us, Elgin Tower Building, is that the original signage?
I believe the lettering to be original. We did have to do some restoration to the gold leaf and some of the other aspects of it, but I believe the lettering to be original.
Great, Mayor.
Okay. And Chris, I talk a little bit about the apartments that are here. When I toured the building, it was a few months ago, and the apartments on the upper floors are a little bit smaller. Some of them are kind of odd shaped, and as you get farther and closer to the ground floor, as you said, they're more a standard apartment size, much larger and rectangular. Talk a little bit about the price points and what it's going to cost to live here. And how is this going to be, what are some of the amenities in the building for people that would be residents here?
Yeah, I'll start with the amenities. We have a game room downstairs with foosball, ping pong, TV. Tenants will be able to use our Netflix account, Hulu account, things like that.
I'd like to move in there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you. Let's sign a lease right after this. Yeah, but just a nice place for people to gather, establish a sense of community. One aspect that we added was a business center. So think about how cool this is. If you work from home, you're a freelance marketing person, you have to meet with a client, you could actually have them enter through the lobby, meet you downstairs, and conduct your business meeting in the Elgin Tower. We'll have Wi-Fi down there, we'll have printers, things like that. So another really cool aspect that all the tenants would be able to enjoy. Another feature that we have is a gym, which actually was originally going to be in the basement. However, we decided to move that to the 11th floor, so every tenant, regardless of what floor they reside on, can enjoy those views. You know, you can be running on the treadmill, looking at the sunset going down to the west, and I mean, those views are absolutely incredible. In addition to that, we have storage lockers, bicycle storage, a mail room, other amenities like that.
And that price range you talked about on apartments?
So our starting price right now is $977, a little bit goofy number, but that's what it shook out to. And our most expensive two-bedroom is currently $1,800. Our job here was to make these as affordable as possible for the community so more and more people could enjoy them.
The original doorman's outfit you have there is wonderful.
That is fabulous, and that was actually a surprise to me. The development company was able to track that down, put it in a frame, hang it. You know, when I saw that, it was very cool.
Was it hidden in a room here somewhere? Where was it?
I am actually not 100% certain where they found it, but they did an excellent job discovering it and, you know, cleaning it up. And actually, a lot of our staff that we'll have at the building is local and, you know, used to come here for their orthodontist or their eye doctor. So they see that jacket and immediately know what it is, and it just brings them back in time.
Start to weep.
Exactly.
That was in your closet, wasn't it, Mayor?
Yes, I think it's my size.
We're down to about a half minute, Mayor.
This is great, Chris, and thank you very much. Good luck, and you know, I anticipate a pretty good demand here, and I think as word starts to get out, and I've been up on the floors, and the view is incredible from these. And I think it's even back in the old days when we looked at it from a doctor's office, when maybe not the best of times for us, brings back great memories.
It's great. Chris, thanks a lot.
Thank you for coming out. We're very excited, and we appreciate all the support.
Welcome to Elgin, and it's exciting.
Thank you.
All right, can we go play foosball now?
Absolutely.
Hey, Mayor, get ready.
Let's go, Jeff.
All right, that's our segment from the historic Elgin Tower Building. Now, at the end of the interview we just saw with Chris Pezza, the property manager for the Tower Building, he told us 2 days up the road, which would be Thursday, January 18th, at about 7 p.m., all the lights of the Tower Building would be lit. Now, with these photos from Jeremy Hayes and Bruce Shipyor, you see the results. Now, also, Chris would tell a story on Facebook that when all the lights of the Tower Building went on, there was an Elgin man outside, 68 years old, had lived in Elgin all his life, had never seen all the lights on. It was quite a moment for Chris and really for all of Elgin. Stuart Wazalowski, who lived here for 20-plus years, was a council member. He moved away a number of years ago, spent in his 20-plus years in Elgin. He had never seen all the lights of the Tower Building on. So Thursday, January 18th, shortly after 7, you saw the results. Thanks, Chris Pezza. Next, let's look at some of the video from last June and what we saw at the first Elgin Civil War reenactment on land owned by the city of Elgin near Route 31 and 20. Folks in Civil War time were everywhere for this two-day event that took place. It's going to happen again this year on the same weekend, June 9 and 10. We're going to talk here with Terry Gavin, council member who was so instrumental in bringing the Civil War reenactment to our city.
Well, good morning, Jeff. Yes, last year was our first annual Civil War reenactment. It was a two-day event, second weekend in June. It was very successful. Many of the participants answered a survey at the end. A couple of them even said it was the best event that they attended, and they attend them all over the country, actually. This year we have plans for even bigger and better things. I've been in contact, or I should say Mr. Braze, John Braze, the organizer, has been in contact back and forth over the holidays. He wanted to make sure that we were still going forward with it in the budget. I said absolutely. There's been no talk of getting rid of it. He's got his Civil War reenactors ready to go. They're fired up. They're going to sign up early. We'll have even more this year. Plus, he mentioned last year there's a couple of other things he wants to add theatrically that'll make it even bigger and better. Possibly a building that may actually, well, I don't want to give away too much. I drove by there the other day, Jeff, and I got to tell you, I was headed up 31. I saw the site, immediately flashed back to last June. I saw the cannons out there, the horses, the hundreds, if not thousands of people in the stands that were erected. Everything is still there, waiting for us again this June. I'm very excited. I'm sure it's going to draw even more people to Elgin, and it's going to be a bigger success, and that's what we're looking for. I helped man a mountain howitzer. I have a picture of it on my Facebook page. It actually fired, even though we had some problems, technical problems. It was an experience, and all the way around, being on the field, being able to participate, it was like being on stage. And other than politics, I was never in drama class, I was never in acting class. So it was exciting. It was like being in a sports event. It was like being on the ball field, and everybody around was watching as spectators, and there was no winners or losers. Everybody was a winner. The North, the South. It was a great experience. I spent 12 hours there right up until the very end. At the end of the night, there was a big gala ball with women in period dress and men and music, and I didn't stick around for that. I'm not much of a dancer.
Thanks, Terry Gavin. Maybe a waltz this year. And this year's Civil War reenactment takes place Saturday and Sunday, June 9 and 10, again near Route 31 and 20 and the Elgin Mental Health Center in city-owned land. So we'll see you there on June 9th and 10th, the Civil War reenactment. This winter at the Elgin Art Space Lofts, it will be the Winter Market put on by the Downtown Neighborhood Association every first and third Saturday, where you'll find many things to purchase. Let's take a look.
Hi there, my name's Pam Echeverria, and I'm with Shared Harvest, and we are a food co-op looking to open a store downtown Elgin area. We are at 986 members, shareholders strong, and we would love you to join our food co-op to bring local, natural grown foods to our community. So think about it, buy a share. Our shares are $100. We would love to see you be part of our community. So stay posted to Facebook and our website for updates and more news to come.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Fucala from the Downtown Neighborhood Association. This is our January winter market at Art Space Lofts. We're going to be here coming up in February on the first and third Saturdays of February, March, and April. And we're really excited to be bringing the winter market to this new location right in the heart of downtown Elgin. The times are we're going to be open from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And, as this moves forward with this new concept, we'll grow the market from there. We have spaces for up to 20 vendors in this wonderful interior gallery space. And, we're just inviting everybody in Elgin to come out and give us a try. We've got great vendors, some of our returning favorites from our summer market, like 3B's Honey and Rover's Canine Snacks, homemade dog treats. And we've got some of the artists from the building participating in the winter edition, and some locally made crafts and goods. Cook's Ice Cream is here. So yeah, we're just encouraging the public to give us a try, and also the vendors.
For our final segment on this edition, on the February edition of Elgin Today, let's talk with Randy Riopel, Parks and Recreation. Randy, it's almost March, and I know what March means to you.
Yes, March is the time we have March into Health, which is like our flagship event for Activate Elgin. And Activate Elgin is a coalition of community partners here in Elgin that are dedicated to helping our residents improve their health and wellness.
And it's going on for a number of years because we're now in shape because it started a few years ago, aren't we?
Exactly. Somewhat in shape, but we're getting more in shape. But yeah, actually, Activate Elgin's been around since 2006, and March into Health's been around since 2013. So yeah, it has been around for quite a while, and it's a great program. So March into Health will kick off on March 3rd. We have a wonderful event scheduled at Gail Borden Library from 1 to 3:30. We have a lot of specific performances there. We have different groups that are there, but most importantly, we want residents to come there so they can learn about the rest of the month of March and what else we're going to offer. It's just a series, probably about 20 to 22 programs, activities, events that are going to touch on different ways that we can all have a healthier lifestyle in 2018.
Well, you're in shape. I know you are because you're not only here in Elgin, but you're also Western Illinois. So,
oh, that's right.
I'm
a leatherneck.
They're always in shape when you're a leatherneck.
Right.
Hey, on the day itself, on March 3, what's my hours?
Well, the hours is 1 to 3:30, and it's over at Gail Borden Library. And we have some great entertainments. The Circuit Esteem Family Performance and Interactive Services there. We have a lot of tables from different organizations in the community that can help people develop a healthier lifestyle. We have a Chef Doug there that's going to teach us how to create healthy foods. We have people that juggle fruit. We're going to have free fruit.
Juggle fruit?
Juggle fruit, the fruit juggler.
That was my minor at Western.
Is that right? Well, maybe you should come over and be our fruit juggler. So just a lot of fun, family-oriented activities, all with the end result, hoping that people have a healthier 2018, that they find out ways to do that.
And I know Danielle Henson is on the committee with you.
Danielle Henson heads it up. She's got a wonderful team of people that are putting this together. They've been working on this since last fall, so it's a big deal for Activate Elgin. Like I said, it's really our flagship event. All the individual events that happen during that month can also be found at our website, which is activateelgin.org.
That's great. Now, and when we talk about Activate Elgin, we always think of the mayor walking, which is kind of a sidebar thing.
Yeah, the mayor walking, that's been around even longer than March into Health. So this year we're going to start the mayor's walks on May 30th. And we're going to go through, I think, the first weekend in September. Typically, those walks happen every other Wednesday when the city council doesn't have a meeting, but not always. We're still in the process of identifying exactly what neighborhoods we're going to be on what date. But
he gets everywhere eventually.
He gets everywhere, and it's a great way for people to get out and walk and get healthy, meet their neighbors, and also talk to us about any city issues, questions they can have, because we have a lot of city department representatives.
Everybody's there. Fire department, police department, you.
Yeah, all the different departments are all represented. It's just a great way for us to connect with our residents and just talk to them about what's happening in their neighborhoods and what we can do together with them to help improve things.
Activate Elgin, that is, and march into health on March 3. We've got about, we'll save it for a future episode with you. St. Francis Park's being refurbished this year, as you told us last year. That's just around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out to bid. Actually, I got to run down to a pre-bid meeting that we have today. We're going to award that bid probably in early February, and work will begin this spring on St. Francis Park, Clifford Owasco, and Kiwanis Park. We're excited about those projects, too.
And you're so topical. We've got to get out of here right now. We'll see you on March 3, okay?
All right, thanks, Jeff. We'll see you then.
Randy Riopel, that is. 1,500 folks showed up on Wednesday, January 17th at Elgin High School, seeing the new floor and seeing an alumni game involving Elgin against Larkin, young kids from both schools in the first game, and the Legends in the second game. This great night, organized by Brandon Grissett, who works now at Elgin High, raised $3,000 nearly for the Elgin Boys and Girls Club. It was a great night. Our thanks to everyone involved, Sherrick Simpson, also Jesse Henderson, and of course, Brandon Grissett. There was a game for the young players and a game for the Legends. Let's talk with one young player.
The game was amazing. More importantly, I'm glad the community came out, something fun for the kids, for East and the West Side. It was just an amazing feeling playing against the guys that I played with kids that I wanted to play against. It was real fun.
I feel great, man. I want to play another game. The way I didn't get the ball that much, but we got the win, so it's always good.
Great intensity, wasn't it?
Oh, great intensity, nice turnout, man. It's always good to see the community come out for an event like this, so it was very rewarding, and I was just happy to be a part of it.
You can learn more about the information you saw here in Elgin today or about city services, programs, and events by going to the Elgin website at www.cityofelgin.org. And now the City of Elgin has a 311 contact center. Elgin 311. Call, click, connect by calling 311, the city's information and request resource. Let's close this edition of Elgin Today with more photos from the night of January 18th when the tower building lights lit up all of downtown Elgin. Our camera operator for Elgin Today is Jeremy Hayes. Still photographer Bruce Shipyor. Elgin Today is produced by BTE Video for the City of Elgin. I'm Jeff Myers. Thanks for watching.